We built Haley's PC back in 2020, so everything is pretty much still up to date and does her just fine, except for just having a little bit of storage issues. We've already moved stuff around, but basically we need to add a couple new drives or a new drive, and also be adding a case fan. But the specs over here. Yes, does not focus. There we go. That's a little bit better. So, yeah. Not doing much to hers today. Mine, on the other hand, I built it back in 2016. So, it also still does me pretty good today, but once again, a couple things are getting out of date. One of them also being the storage, so I'm getting a couple new drives, as in a few drives. And I'm upgrading a couple other parts that we'll go through as well there. Let's see if it'll focus here. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and disconnect everything. And first things first after that is we gotta go ahead and blow these out. Still. Hers isn't too bad. Mine had literal cobwebs in it, so we gotta clean them up before we throw some new stuff into them. So we'll get these things opened up and ready to blow out. Oh, okay. Straight back. There you go. Perfect. Take mine off now. Got thumb screws back here. So that's easy. Oh yeah. Just like that. Dusty. Very dusty. Actual Phillips screws here. It's kind of lame, but it's not like you gain access to the back very often, or need to, I should say. There we go. Okay, well, yeah, a little bit of dust there. Okay, so the inside of yours actually doesn't look too bad. Fan's a little dusty in there, but other than that, it's not too bad at all. I think we can work with that. Filters are pretty clean too. Come over to mine though. Look at that, eh? Whew. Oh my god. Yeah, my fans are probably pretty dirty as well. It's been a little bit, probably overdue. Now I don't know if this actually shows up on camera, but it's been so long that there's actually a spider web in my computer going from that rear fan to the heatsink over here. Well, I'll do mine first here. Mine is pretty easy. Okay, just a few clips here. And just like that, gain access to the front fan and this filter as well. This thing's pretty dirty also. You can probably hear the compressor in the background that I'm using to actually blow these things out, but didn't record pulling the front of Haley's off because it's a really dumb design actually. It's these clips, you gotta squish them. You gotta squish them at the right time while you're pulling on it, and it's kind of just a mess. Sometimes it ends up being like a two-person job, but yeah, we'll take this filter out as well. Really, once again, hers isn't that dirty. We have cleaned it once, and it's built in 2020, so what do you expect? But she does use hers more than I use mine, so there is a bit of dust here, as you might be able to see on camera. So we'll get her all cleaned up. So now that we're ready to install all of these parts, I guess we should go over what we're actually putting in here. So for mine, it's definitely a little bit more. I'm upgrading my whole power supply with a Cooler Master 700. I'm putting another 16 gigs of RAM to make it 32 gigs in total. I'm putting an SSD in there, which I don't have yet, so that's gonna be my main boot drive for my operating system. Putting a 4 terabyte hard drive in there just to store games and videos mainly, like a bulk drive. And then of course a Corsair LED fan I'm going to throw probably in the back here, replace one of the fans in the case. And yeah, just SATA cables, And other than that, that should be about it for mine. And Haley's is going to be a little bit simpler and faster today. Mainly just wanted to do some cleaning. We're also throwing in another Corsair fan and a 4TB hard drive just to expand on her storage so she's not limited on that. And with that, a SATA cable to go with it. Okay, so first things first on mine, I think I'm just going to pull the whole power supply out right now and just get all those cables out of the way. It'll be a little bit easier to get the rest of the parts in since I'm taking that power supply out anyway. And I know this cable looks a little bit funky just going across here, but I don't know. When I installed this power supply, when I was routing all the cables, this one didn't have the length to it, I believe, to route correctly where I wanted it, so it just ended up here, and it's lived there all these years, but hopefully we'll fix that, putting this new power supply in. Got all these front ones pulled out of here, so now we'll move on to the back. And no, I'm not wearing any anti-static wrist straps, but I'm also touching the case often, and I'm not standing on carpet and wool socks, so I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. Now it's all ready to pretty much get pulled right out. Don't want to rip any of the front I/O cables out. Oh, stuff's getting caught on the back of the case. Oh, I got it. I got it. See? Just like that. 500 is out. So I'm going to be replacing this rear case fan next. And I'm going to be putting in the Corsair ML120. I picked this one, I mean, it's not RGB, but I picked it because, number one, it has those fancy magnetic bearings that are supposed to last forever, and number two, I'm already going with a blue theme in my computer, didn't really want to change it, and, well, this one's blue, so get it opened up here. I don't even know what to expect will be in the box here. Probably a fan. That's my best guess. And I'm hoping some screws as well. I have my other screws. Nice if it came with some extras. This way. Ooh. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes. Oh no, it does. I can see them there. It comes with screws. So that'll be handy because the fan that Haley has for her computer doesn't have screws. Look at that. Pretty fancy. Hopefully it'll look good in there. Let's go. Maybe destroying the packaging. Yeah. There's some extra screws that we can use for Haley's fan. So that works out pretty good. There we go. Oh no. Don't get caught in that. It's a case fan that came with this case. Time to throw in this new one. How do I keep dropping everything? It's probably not good. Yeah, I think that'll look good. These fans are pretty cool. Once again with those magnetic bearings. Very reliable. It's supposed to be pretty quiet. And also these little corners, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't matter to most people, but they're actually, you can change these different colors. So kind of interesting. Try to get this guy in here. I want the cable to go up there. Might actually be easier to have the case upright for this, but once we get some of it pulled through there, should be okay. Got it installed and all these started, so now tighten them right down. Obviously not overdoing it, so that don't strip it out, it is just plastic. Perfect. Okay, get this plugged into here. Hand's gonna be in the way, but plug it in right next to the CPU fan. Perfect, that works. Next, I think I'm gonna throw in the RAM. So we got our 16 gigabytes of HyperX Fury RAM. We'll open this guy up. Perfect. Fancy. One stick. Two stick. So shiny. Now for the scary part. Install the RAM. I'm sure everybody, including you, Haley, has seen the horror videos online. Let's not reenact any of that stuff. Okay, so skinny sides over there. Obviously, it's literally all the same, so. Oh, the color is a little bit different. Didn't notice that before. Should I do this one? There we go. Okay. Click, click. Just like that. Okay, they're locked in. They're locked in. That's it. Okay, perfect. Now, this other one is gonna be really hard. I might have to take this fan off, but we'll give her a try first. That's open. That's open. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. Nope, that's not gonna work. I pop the corner of this guy off. So, put you off to the side. Off to the side. There we go. Our stick of RAM right here. And we'll push this guy right here. Make sure everything lines up properly. Ah, there's the satisfying click. Okay. Just go over all of them there. Yeah, they should all be in. Oh, there we go. That's, yeah. Click, click, click. And this side clicked for sure. Go ahead and throw this fan back on. Worry about the wiring after. Get a level might get. There we go. Okay, that's all back together. 512 gig SSD for my operating system, so hopefully that speeds things up a little bit. I'm hoping it comes with mounting screws. I don't expect it to, but I want to put it right here. I think that's the wisest place to put it. Okay, where'd you come? I said, where'd you come? Okay, this is it. And I don't think it comes with screws, so I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna mount that in there. So I wanted to go ahead and see if I had any more screws, because it seems like we've been having a problem with not having all the hardware that we need, I guess is what you could say. So I went over to my old PC box that everybody hangs onto, rummaged through it, and yeah, look, I found this little guy here, opened it up, and we have nothing to worry about. Look at this. Lots of screws there. Probably hard to see under the light, but lots of screws. I got my old original motherboard PC speaker, some zip ties. Of course, they really hooked me up on this. All kinds of hard drive tray stuff here, so yeah, not worried at all. Should be not much else to it. Obviously don't want to stab right into the hard drive, that would be unfortunate. Okay. Little info from SanDisk there. Cool. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and mount this guy right on there, and I think that'll look pretty good. Look at that. It's a nice face on that SSD. Okay, so I did want to mount my SSD up here, but I mean, a quick look at the mounting holes, and it's not designed to go like this, or I guess more like this. It has to go in there, and they get screwed in from the sides. So, a little disappointing. I mean, I can do it if I modify this tray, but just for the sake of time, my case came with this little guy here, which allows me to put these into there, and then put this in with my hard drive bays. Yeah, that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that. Alright, so I got the SSD mounted into this tray. Now it should be just as simple as, okay, so let's go that way. So we slip this guy into here, and this guy onto there, and then since it is gonna be my boot drive, I'm just gonna put it right at the very top. Clicks right in. There we go. So I got boot drive, my 1 terabyte hard drive for, well, I guess it will be for games and stuff, and then we'll put the the 4 terabyte hard drive under this one, and then I think that'll look pretty good. 4 terabyte Seagate. I did open the packaging already because I wanted to make sure nothing was damaged. Put that over there. There we go. 4 terabyte Seagate Barracuda hard drive. Anti-static bag. So we'll get this open and we'll push this thing in there. Touch the case. Make sure I don't got no static in me there. And, oh god, like opening a bag of chips. I'll try to touch and drive as little as I can. It's going to be pretty hard to do. Throw that over there. Very shiny. Very nice. Just drop the fucking thing. Okay. Now, put that down carefully. Ever so slightly. And we'll dig into our box of goodies here. Dig into it. Okay. That's what we need right there. Okay. And once again, Cooler Master makes it nice and simple. Just pop these guys onto here. There. Okay. Go in the right direction. We're not upside down. And we should just be able to slide this guy right into there. That was a nice click. So now it's time to slide the new power supply in. Hanging out over here. So of course, label's gonna be facing the outside. Oh boy. It's always tedious putting these things back in here. I'll just say screw it, and I'll get it in place first if I can. And we'll just worry about the wiring after. That's the responsible thing to do. Yeah. Lines up, everything lines up. Should have got my ratcheting screwdriver. So now that we got these wires all pushed through, just separate them so that I know what I'm working with here real quick. Try and make it as neat as possible, like everybody would try to do. How the actual result comes out of that, it's always something different, but I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like this, so. Alright, I'll just start putting things on where they need to go. Well, it's time to put this connector, this big guy in here. Always the most stressful for me. I hate this part, and this is a split connector too. So we'll just do it without breaking the motherboard, right? Right? Yeah, hopefully. That one should just kind of slide in. This one has a clip on it. Ooh, just gotta send it. Wiggle. There we go. Look at how much the board flexes. Okay. Is that pushed in all the way?
No, it's not pushed in all the way. Whoa, Nelly.
Put 2 hands in it. I mean, it's like, it's in. It just... Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay, I just whip up the pliers.
While messing around with this, I actually stepped back and took a look at it. And if you look right there, you see that notch in there? How this one has to go below this one? That's what the problem is. So now, I gotta do this again Wiggle, wiggle. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna sick.
I know, it's so stressful. Okay, now that has to go, from the looks of it at least. It's gotta, like, yeah. I don't know why they'd make... I guess I do. Some computers would have a split connector like this, but... Okay, now all together, I gotta put this in here. I'll get it. Okay. I think
You think that's in?
I think so.
Yeah, that's in.
There we go, there's the clip. Okay, we got it in, everything's indexed properly. Alright, so now that we got the big 24, I believe 24 pin connector out of the way, I just kind of fished the rest of the cables where they need to go, make sure that I can organize them somewhat well. And good news is, like I hoped for, this cable that goes up to the top of the motherboard over here is actually long enough on this power supply, so I won't have to half-ass run it over top of my graphics card, and it just looks bad. But I mean, it's not like the case is ever open, or I got a glass panel like Haley has, so it was okay for all these years. Just kind of forgot about it. And then I got the hard drive power cables over here. I got power connection for the graphics card over here, and spare graphics card connector down here, I guess if you have a second one in the case, and then just some connections for fans and whatever else. And then with our new Corsair fan that I installed, I already got this guy plugged in and cable managed over there. These things are a little bit of a pain. But once again, I'm happy I can run them this way and not have to run them some other stupid way. One, and where's the clip on this guy? Come on. Bring her around, and there we go. That one's done. Okay, we'll get the power hooked up for the hard drives next here. Don't know if there's any real nice way to do this. We'll try our best. Put that in. Plug this in. And this guy up here, look at that. Now we're using some power. Okay. Careful not to break anything. Everything is very fragile. Okay, good, good and good. So I think it's time to put in these SATA cables for the hard drives. So what I am going to do though, obviously we have one SATA cable going to the DVD drive, and that's labeled as number 2. My main 1 terabyte hard drive was number 1, so I'm going to pull this one out, and I'm going to bring this over to the SSD, because that's going to be our main and first drive. Okay, and then from there I'm just going to stick in these new SATA cables that we got. Put one there, put another one in there, just like that. And then we'll feed those around to the front and plug them into the motherboard. We got all of our hard drives hooked up in the correct order, so now all that's left is to, oh okay, I forgot I guess. Just looking at it now, we got to hook up the power to the DVD player there, or the disk drive, and then hook up power to that front cooling fan, and then just cable managing, and that's it. Alright, so for the case fans, this front one here, originally, as you can see, I just had it plugged into, let's see real quick here, one of these guys. You can see that, obviously, vice versa, either or. That's how I had it plugged in. But now looking at it, I don't know why I didn't just unplug this guy here. On the other side, up at the top of the motherboard there is another fan connection that's 3-pin. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that. And just like that, all the cable management is done. At least to pretty much my standards for something that's always hidden. I think this works pretty well. Nothing should get caught. Everything's in its place. And everything should be wired in. show you the front side, you know, the showpiece. So everything looks pretty good, actually. One final look inside here. Got all of our wires nicely tucked away best that we can. Everything's hooked up. Really happy about that one up there, because you guys already know how it was. There's the fan. And there's a lot more storage than I had before, we'll say that. Get out of here. Oh, no, I forgot the filter. Now we should be good to snap this back on. Alright, I did my final check over everything in there, and we should be good to plug it in and fire it up. So, the last piece in here. Put the side panel back on. Screws. And just like that, the upgrades to my PC are done. Okay, so now moving over to Haley's PC. With this being a mini form factor type case, and just the fact that, yeah, it's a bit smaller, with upgrading her storage, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because really this case was only designed to fit one full-size hard drive and a few SSDs in there, and since we're just trying to slap in another hard drive, we're going to go ahead and move her SSD to a different location, put her new 4TB hard drive down in here, install her fan, and do a little bit of cable management and moving around, but other than that, we should be able to make this work. Yeah, just wiggle it. There you go. Perfect. Now that's up.
Oh! Jesus.
Alright.
Ugh,
SSD is out.
Go get me a hair tie, please.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
As long as you don't stab the motherboard.
Wait, tell me.
Is that all of them?
It's all four.
It's all four? Yeah. Yeah, it's neat how they put those little holes back here so you can actually, you know, they actually thought about it.
It's a knife.
Just don't stab the hard drive, that's all. I guess you could have opened it like a chip bag too, but just use the knife, 'cause why not? It's a Snap-on knife, it's a good knife. Not sponsored by Snap-on. Since this place is technically for an SSD, we're going to make it work for a hard drive because they didn't give us any extra bays or trays for a hard drive besides this one up here. You can't see it in the direction of the camera, but there is a hard drive hiding up there. So we come back to my fancy box of leftover computer case parts, and we were just kind of putting stuff together that would work. So I got some long screws right here in this baggie of screws, and then we got some standoffs as I pulled them out one by one. So yeah, we'll just put the hard drive on top of the standoffs inside the case there, and I'm pretty sure that should do good. You know, keep the vibrations down, keep it from shorting out on the bottom of the case. The idea that we kind of figured out to get this mounted is working. Just wanted to show you guys because it's kind of hard to see in the case there. We just got, I'm not even sure what these were for. They're standoffs of some kind that came in the box, but I kind of thought, hey, these will work. Then I got these long screws as well. Put these through here. It's like it was meant to be. So hard drive screws in right there, keeps it off the case.
Is it going?
Oh yeah. Perfect. You can see standoffs worked great. Hard drives aren't crashing into each other. Nothing's touching anything. Everything lined up.
I have no idea.
Oh, you're getting it. There you go. You're getting it. Woo.
Should we do diagonal? Do you reckon?
You can do the one across. If you want, you can try the ones on the inside. Good luck.
Okay, no, we'll do one across.
Alright, second fan is installed. Now, just time to wire everything up, I guess. Look at that. That symbol is perfect.
Yeah, I think I'm both.
So we're just getting the SATA cables in place. You can go ahead and plug your SSD back in. Decided to use the new SATA cable because it was red, or I guess Haley considers it pink. You really think that's pink, eh?
I think so.
Okay. Well, this is the one that you're going to be able to see from the inside of the case, mostly, I guess. There you go. Alright, so we did end up getting all of the cable managing out of the way there. Wasn't much worth recording because, well, it is a mini form factor case, so every part of it was literally just struggling. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of ignore this area. But we got the fan in, we got everything else done, hard drive in. That's pretty much all there was. Did cable managing best that we could, but in a case this small, it's just kind of hard.
This is my SSD, and this is my 1 terabyte, and this is my 4 terabyte hard drive.
So there we go. Now she has plenty of storage, and what's left is to just snap the panels back on, screw it all together, and we should be good to put these back into the office.
I didn't clean this beforehand, so it doesn't look clean, that's why.
That's okay. Still satisfying. Nice. Well, I think that looks pretty good. Even that SSD where we put it, I think that works really well in the case. So, I think this will do until you get a new case at least, eh? Yeah. There you go. Filters in. Both computers are back together, ready to go in the office. So now that we got the computers back into the office and everything hooked up, I guess the only thing left to do is just turn them on. I gotta spam the delete key. There we go. I gotta make sure I get into the BIOS and launch it from the correct drive. But everything booted up fine, so that's a good sign. Now obviously it doesn't do the justice on camera, but that fan looks pretty damn good. And it's really quiet too. The loudest thing on the computer is just the power supply fan, and I mean, this one is even quieter than the last one. Yeah. Moves a lot of air. So we went ahead and just got Haley's PC all hooked up and fired right up. No problems there. And I mean, there wasn't much to see, obviously. All we did was upgrade a hard drive and put in another fan. And then she added her own little touch there, which is quite nice. A big, beefy graphics card in this tiny case. There's the first fan, and there's the second one. So, definitely a little more airflow than just 2 fans in the case, which is nice. But other than that, all looks good. And as you can see, we already got the new hard drive configured. And currently, we're already transferring over all of our games onto this one. So that'll free up mainly her C drive, because that's just the SSD, and we want that to stay nice and free and clear for the operating system to run smoothly. 1 terabyte drive, which, I mean, it'll stay pretty much filled up, and then lots more storage over there. So now that I got everything set in the BIOS there, it's all booted up fine. And damn, does it look good. Just turn off the lights and get a really good look at that fan, but pretty happy with how it turned out on this end at least. I got the drives all configured. So now all that's left to do is clone Windows over to that SSD and then dump everything else over into that 4 terabyte drive. And believe me, this was right full before I started. I had to dump a bunch of stuff onto my external hard drive just to make sure that I have room. But I'm probably still going to have to dump some stuff off. Either way, I'm going to get it done, and then don't have to worry about it for a long, long time. So obviously the very last part to this is to clone all my data from my original hard drive over to my SSD. So pretty much just cloning Windows over, and then I'll just go through any other individual files that I want to after and put them on whatever drive. But Windows is the main thing that I want on the SSD. So I got the Aomi Backupper installed there, and main thing when doing this is make sure, you can see down there, that your internet is unplugged so that nothing interferes while you're cloning everything over. So as you can see here, I'm going from my source disk over to my destination here. So as soon as I start clone, get rid of that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go through this first, obviously. Yes, I do know that I could be recording this actually on the PC and just, edit it into the video afterwards. It would look a lot sharper. But I mean, this isn't anything professional. We're just kind of showing what we're doing along the way here. But as you can see, I quote-unquote bought the program and registered a key. So now we're back up and running here with the Aomi Backupper. And it looks like, yep, everything. Well, it's not quite cloning the drive yet. It is still just analyzing everything to make sure it'll go smoothly throughout the cloning process. But after this is all, well, it's at 33% now, but once it's complete, it'll clone the drive, and once I boot it from the SSD, everything should be 100%. Fingers crossed. And now that the cloning process is complete, this is the original disk drive, and here's the SSD. So, as you can see, completely cloned from one to the other. So now, just time to shut the computer down, fire it back up, and boot Windows from this other drive. Everything booted up completely fine, and as it should. And the only issue I ended up having in the end is when I went into the File Explorer here and looked at all my drives to make sure everything was good. I did see that in between the copying of Windows, that a couple extra partitions got created, I guess you could say, and they were just like Windows recovery partitions on both drives there. So I did a little bit of research because I never came across that before, and I did figure out that if you just go into the partitions manager just in Windows itself, as long as you remove the letters from those actual partitions, they'll disappear back into just general Windows files. You can't delete them because one of them especially is responsible for actually booting Windows, so if you delete that, it'll just corrupt it altogether, and then you'll have an even worse time. So I definitely stepped back for a second, looked at what I could do, and now everything's good, as you can see, and everything's the way it should be. So that'll conclude the PC upgrades for this time around, I guess.